Okay, so for this video, we're going to do problem number 1 on page 124, and it may seem a little bit easy, but there'll be other videos that show you how to do problems like number 5 that are a little bit more difficult. And so all I'm going to do is I'm going to follow the steps that are on page 123. I'm just going to go step by step. So step 1 says simplify if possible, factor the numerator and the denominator. Well, number 1 right here doesn't factor. Since it doesn't factor, there's nothing I can cancel out, so there's no holes. Then it says find and plot the y-intercepts and the x-intercepts. So to do the y-intercept, I let x be 0, which means up here I'm going to have 5. And then down here I'm going to have negative 2. So my y-intercept is 0, comma, negative 2.5. And I'm going to graph that 0, negative 2.5. And then my x-intercept, you let y be 0, so 0 equals, and you would multiply this over. So if I had 0 equals and I multiplied this over, the bottom goes away, and you just have this, which is why in the notes it says that you're just, and this means you're just finding the zeros of the numerator, or setting the numerator equal to 0. So x is going to equal negative 5/3. So my x-intercept is negative 5/3, comma, 0. So like right there. Okay, and so now I've done those two things, then it says find the vertical asymptotes. So if I set the denominator equal to 0, my vertical asymptote is x equals 2. So I can go over here and I'm going to plot my little asymptote. Right there. And then it says find the horizontal asymptotes. The exponents are the same here, so you're going to divide the leading coefficient. So this EBA thing is another way of saying horizontal asymptote. And if I take 3 and I divide by 1, I'm going to get that y equals 3. So there's my other one right there. And you should be able to tell now that this piece is going to go like this, and you probably have another piece over here that does that. I'm going to use my calculator, and I'm going to show you how to make a quick table. So you can fill this in. So all I did is I opened up a calculator. I'm actually going to add a graph. And I'm not adding the graph so that I can see the graph. I'm adding the graph so that I can quickly do something. If I type in my equation right here, so I'm going to do a fraction. And you can't see that, but all I'm going to do is I'm going to type in 3x plus 5 in the numerator. And then in the denominator, I'm going to type that x minus 2. Press enter. I'm going to see if I can get this to show up for you. There we go. So I did that, and then you can press Control T and have the table show up. So press Control T for table, and it will show up. And then you can just easily fill this in. So we know that it's 0. We already knew that we were at negative 2.5. If I want to go up to negative 9, at negative 9 I'm at 2, so I can plot that negative 9, 2. And at 4, if I arrow down on my table, 4, I'm at 8.5, so 4, 8.5, 4, 8.5. And while you're down here at 4, you could graph some other ones. Like at 5, you're at 6 2/3, so like right there. Or at 6, you're at 5.75, like that. So you can see that this side's going to do this. And this side's going to do that. And if you go to page 126, what we just graphed right, oh, hang on, I haven't done the domain. So the domain is going to take the x part of the holes and the vertical asymptote into account. And so for this one, I went from negative infinity. I didn't have a hole, I just have the 2 to worry about, to 2. And then from 2 to infinity. And if we go check, that graph looks like mine. Those match mine. This domain, we're not going to write it like that. We're going to write the negative infinity to 2, 2 to infinity. My table matches. Life's great. Okay, so now you're going to go back to Edmodo, and we're going to do problem number 5, because it looks a lot harder.